Now when it comes to catching live squid, what we do is, if you've got a big floodlight, if your boat's got floodlights on it, it's going to throw a very wide light area. So basically what's going to happen is your squid are going to be very sparse and over a big area. So that's the best time to use these prawn jigs. And just a slow jig is all you need to do. If you jig it too fast, it can spook them. So just very slow. And best thing to do is leave them in the water for a little while too, to get rid of their ink. But you know what, if we had a more concentrated light in one spot over the side, the squid would generally come in bigger numbers in a small area, and that's when we use drawstring cast nets, or even sometimes a scoop net. But at the moment we're just going to use the squid jig because we're here in the game boat tonight, and we've got the big floodlights on, so they're all spread out all over the area, which makes it harder to throw the cast net over them. So we're using the squid jig, and there we go. Nice little squid there. Hey! Lucky I left him over the side to get rid of most of his ink. So that's what you do. Always leave him over the side, otherwise you're going to get a face full of ink. So we'll take him off now, put him in the bait tank. Always point them away from you. Never grab them and hold them towards you, because if they have got a bit of ink left in there, you don't want a face full of ink. So we just slide him off like so, into the bait tank, and get a few more. Also be very careful, because the squid have like a parrot's beak inside the tentacles at the bottom of the body, in between the eyes, and that's their mouth of course, and it's very, very sharp. It'll actually take a round scallop out of you. So when you grab the squids, you grab them by the bell, and do not play with them like they're a toy or a pet. Don't let them crawl all over your hand, because I tell you what, if they bite you, you're going to know all about it. Now the squid light attracts all sorts of things to the light. We've got hardy heads here at the moment. They're not the best of bait for catching a lot of fish, but yeah, they will still work. But quite often we get the Cooktown herring and large greenbacks. They come up under the light. If you see them, if they're here in large numbers, once again you use the drawstring cast net, or you use your bait jigs, your little 6 or 7 feathers coming off a bunch of droppers. So herring are just as good a bait for Fingermark and all sorts of northern Australian species, just as live squid. But tonight we're practicing with the live squid, and we're going to have another crack here now. To start off with, we did notice that the squid that were out in the light were a bit timid towards the squid jigs, but when they came around the side here, I pulled the squid jig out of the darkness and slowly into the light, and that's how we've caught both of ours so far. So if you do find them a bit timid out in the bright light, and you see them out to the side in the darker area, just on the edge of the light, throw your squid jig into the dark and pull it through to the light. When you're rigging up your prawn jig, you don't have to have a big leader on there like you do for fishing, like a 60 or 80 pound monofilament leader. The thinner the better. Just some simple 10 or 20 pound braid is all you need on a little light rod, just straight to the lure, because they're not going to cut you off, so it just gives them a little less things to get spooked about, basically, because sometimes they really are a spooky kind of critter, and tonight they are playing it hard on us, so we're working away. We've got a few at the moment, but we'll see if we can get a few more before we chuck a line over. And this is the old traditional way of catching squid. It sometimes can be the longest. I do prefer to use a drawstring cast net, but we haven't got one with us tonight because we're on the game boat, but I think I'll be putting one on board anyway somehow. Now when it comes to attaching live squid as a live bait, I like to run them on a dropper rig, using the Carly hooks of course. With small squid like this, that's how we hold them, so that their tentacles can't come around and grab hold of you, because they've got that beak up in there and it's a nasty bite. So with the small squid, we just go through the very top of the bell, away from all the vitals, and then simply just through the side. Don't go through the middle of the body, just the side of the body, like so. And because most of the predatory species just come up and take them whole, it doesn't matter if you just got the hook sitting up the top here, they'll just woof the whole thing down. With bigger squid, it's a little bit different. We'll hopefully show you that another time. We'll get a bigger squid. But we've pinned him on there now. We're just going to drop him over and see if we can catch a grunter or a Fingermark or one of our other tropical species. Now, as I mentioned before, with the larger squid, this one's not a monster. It's a little bit bigger than the last one. It's the biggest one we've got tonight so far. What we do is up through the very top there again, about 1 centimetre down from the top, we push the hook right through, and you pull the hook right through itself, knot and all, and then, so you got that going through the top of the squid, then that hook goes back around through that same hole, or thereabouts, if you pull it right through again. So you've got a loop going through the top of the squid basically to hold it in place, and then with the hook just down the side of his body, just pinch him through the side there, not through the center of the body, just through the side, through the very edge, and that'll let him stay alive for a lot longer. And that's how you put your big squid on. Makes them very appealing. Oh. I don't know, but he's heading for the rocks. Oh shit. That was a big finger mark. Well, that's what live squid do. They attract big finger mark. Anyway, we'll try again. Now, big fish like that, as you saw, can pull off line pretty seriously. He ripped a quick 60 metres off me and got me in the rocks over there. And that's 30-pound drag, fish to its max. And he just tore it off there like cotton. So at night time is when the really big finger mark come out, the 10 and 12 kilo models. And I think that's what we run into. Oops, this one's on now. Oh, Struth. This one's a bit smaller. At least I'll get him out of the rocks.
Okay, don't say too quick.
There we go. There we go. Live squid equals nice finger mark. Great bait in Northern Australia, these tropical speedsters. Now, just because the fish didn't destroy that bait and I've got him back whole, and the squid might be dead, it doesn't matter. It's very fresh, the finger mark will still eat them. Put them straight back on again, because that big fella we lost before, we had a couple of pickers have a go at that before it, and all the legs were gone. I just threw out the shell, and that was that really big fella that took off and got us in the rocks just before. So we're going to put him back out now dead, pin him on the same way, see if we can catch another one. Now if you want to learn more on all the tricks and trade secrets... Oh. I was going to say, if you want to learn all the trade secrets about catching finger mark, well, my trade secrets anyway, and all the little tips, keep an eye out for our finger mark course at fishsmarter.com.au. Finding finger mark. It'll teach you all the tricks you need to know. Whoa, big tiger shark just followed him up.
Oh, get it quick. Oh.
Wow. Look, he ate the sinker. Tiger shark ate the sinker. That's North Queensland for you. I wouldn't put a big toe in this water. Okay. You can also see where that tiger shark came up and just grabbed him by the tail. He just got out of his road in time. Nice little fish. That's a school size finger mark. Really good size for eating. Big finger mark are more of a novelty. We let them go because they're in shallow water anyway most of the time, so barotrauma doesn't bother them in that depth. Big finger mark, just like anything that's adult, the fillets just curl up in the pan, no good eating. Fish up around that 2 to 4 kilos is a really good eating size.
Are you drinking on the job?
I'm allowed to. It's after hours.